In the stillness of central Washington, where pine trees stretch tall and the Cascade foothills roll in quiet waves, a small town was torn apart by a crime so unimaginable it continues to haunt both the community and the nation. It began like any other early summer weekend. Children played in driveways, parents mowed lawns, the wind rustled through open windows. But inside one particular house, nestled in a modest Ellensburg neighborhood, something horrifying was unfolding. Something that would change everything. Travis Decker was, by all outward appearances, an ordinary man. 37 years old, a Navy veteran, a construction foreman, and a father of 3 beautiful daughters. He had the kind of rugged handsomeness that didn't draw attention, a quiet demeanor that made him blend in with others at the supermarket or PTA meetings. He wasn't the type of man you'd expect to find on the run from law enforcement. And yet, today, that is exactly who he is. The story of Travis Decker is not just the story of a man accused of murder. It's the story of a family unraveling, of warning signs ignored, of a system overwhelmed and overburdened. And it's the story of 3 young girls, Lily, Mabel, and Addison, whose lives ended before they even had the chance to begin. To understand what happened, we must begin with who Travis was before everything fell apart. Travis grew up in Southern Oregon, the son of a logging foreman and a school teacher. He joined the Navy at age 19, serving 2 tours overseas. His service record was clean. Commendations for mechanical expertise, a few minor disciplinary notes for insubordination, but nothing that stood out. After leaving the military in his early 30s, Travis moved to Washington State, where he met Danielle, a marketing assistant at a small outdoor recreation company. They married in 2014 and quickly started a family. Lily came first in 2016. A sensitive and artistic child, Lily loved to draw pictures of animals and dreamt of becoming an illustrator. 2 years later came Mabel, more adventurous, bold, and fiercely protective of her younger sister. Addison, the baby of the family, was born in 2021 with big brown eyes and a giggle that Danielle's friends said could stop your heart with joy. For a while, it seemed like they were a normal, happy family. They lived in a 2-bedroom rental with a garden out back. Travis took up a foreman position with a local construction company and worked long hours. Danielle stayed home with the children until Addison was born, then returned to work part-time. But beneath the surface, things were beginning to crack. Danielle's friends later reported that Travis had begun exhibiting controlling behaviors. He disliked when Danielle went out without telling him. He monitored her phone calls. When disagreements arose, he would go silent for days, sometimes taking the car and vanishing without explanation. In public, they seemed fine, but at home, Danielle confided to a friend, "I feel like I'm walking on eggshells." In 2023, Danielle filed for separation. By this time, Travis had grown increasingly erratic. He had stopped taking calls from extended family, withdrawn from community events, and even refused to attend his daughter's school recital after an argument with Danielle over parenting responsibilities. Danielle moved out with the girls, renting a small duplex in Yakima County. The court granted her primary custody, but Travis was awarded weekend visitation rights. It was a decision that Danielle hesitated to accept. She had written in court filings that Travis had a short fuse and expressed disturbing thoughts about the girls being better off with him full-time. Still, the court had no reason to deny him access. There were no criminal charges, no documented abuse, and so the arrangement stood. On the morning of May 31st, 2025, Danielle packed her daughter's overnight bags. It was Travis's weekend with the girls, and as always, she walked them to the curb when he pulled up in his dusty gray pickup truck. Lily clutched her sketch pad, Mabel had her favorite doll, and Addison refused to part with her bunny blanket. Danielle kissed each of them on the forehead and watched as they climbed into their father's truck. It was the last time she would ever see them alive. When Travis didn't return the girls by Sunday night, Danielle wasn't immediately panicked. He had been late before, once even forgetting it was Sunday and returning them Monday morning. But by late Sunday evening, her calls began going to voicemail. Texts went unanswered. By early Monday morning, Danielle drove to Travis's house, in Ellensburg herself. The front door was locked, no lights on, no sound. She pounded on the door, screaming for the girls. Nothing. It was then that she called 911. Police arrived within an hour. There were no signs of forced entry. The mailbox was full. A neighbor reported not seeing Travis or the girls since Saturday. With probable cause established, the officers broke in. What they found inside was every parent's nightmare. The house was unnaturally quiet. The girls' backpacks were lined neatly by the front door. A bowl of cereal had been left untouched on the kitchen table. The living room television still played a cartoon on mute. In the back bedroom were 3 small beds. On each lay the lifeless body of one of Travis's daughters. Lily, Mabel, and Addison had been killed sometime late Saturday night or early Sunday morning. The medical examiner would later confirm that they had been smothered, most likely in their sleep. No signs of a struggle, no defensive wounds, nothing. Just silence. Travis was gone. Panic set in immediately. Police issued a statewide alert. A search of his phone records showed that his last signal pinged from a tower near the edge of Wenatchee National Forest early Sunday morning. Security footage from a gas station in Roslyn captured his truck heading west toward rugged wilderness. Authorities feared the worst. Travis was armed and running. Over the next 48 hours, a manhunt was launched. Bloodhounds tracked his scent to a remote hiking trail outside Cle Elum, but the trail went cold. Helicopters combed the mountains. Local deputies and state troopers were soon joined by the Washington National Guard. The terrain was steep and dangerous, perfect for someone with military training looking to vanish, and Travis had that training. A background check revealed that Travis had completed a Navy SEER course: survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. He had experience living off the land, hiding his tracks, and navigating hostile environments. Combined with the $11,000 he withdrew from a joint account just before the murders, authorities began to believe this escape was not spontaneous. It had been planned. Then came a disturbing discovery. At a sporting goods store in Yakima, Travis had been seen purchasing camping gear, a satellite map, high-protein rations, and .45 caliber ammunition 2 days before the murders. One of his registered firearms was missing from his home. Travis Decker, the quiet veteran father, had become the target of a multi-state manhunt, and he was likely armed and dangerous. As days passed without a confirmed sighting, the public grew more alarmed. Billboards went up with his face. A $50,000 reward was offered, later increased to $100,000. Tips poured in, from hikers, from farmers, from truckers at rest stops, but none led to Travis. Back in Ellensburg, grief turned to rage, a candlelight. Vigil was held in front of the Decker residence. Hundreds gathered, holding signs that read, "Justice for the girls," and "We won't forget." Danielle, visibly shaken, appeared only briefly. In a statement read by her attorney, she said, "My daughters were my heart, my soul, and my entire world. I don't know why this happened. I only know that I will not rest until the man who did this is brought to justice." Media outlets began, diving deeper into Travis's past. An ex-girlfriend came forward anonymously to say that he had once pinned her against a wall during an argument. Another former co-worker said Travis had become withdrawn in recent months, muttering to himself and refusing help. Psychologists weighed in, labeling him a family annihilator, a type of killer that sees the destruction of one's family as a final act of control. These are not crimes of passion, experts said. They are crimes of domination. When the abuser feels he has lost everything, he seeks to destroy what remains, and then vanish. Meanwhile, law enforcement faced a grim reality. Travis might never be found. The forest was vast. If he died by suicide, his body could be hidden for years. If he fled further, possibly north toward Canada or east toward Idaho, he could be anywhere. Surveillance at border crossings was stepped up, but no confirmed images of Travis have emerged. A theory emerged in online circles that Travis had help. He was known to frequent online survivalist forums. He had contacts from his military days, some with anti-government leanings. Could someone be sheltering him? Could he have found a remote cabin, far off-grid, where no one would think to look? The FBI joined the search, scouring his digital footprint for clues. Encrypted messages on Signal and Telegram suggested he had reached out to someone in the weeks before the murders, but so far no one has been arrested or publicly named. As the days turned to weeks, the urgency remained, but so did the uncertainty. The quiet that follows tragedy. The most painful thing is the not knowing. Not knowing where he is. Not knowing if he'll strike again. Not knowing what drove him to take the lives of 3 little girls who trusted him, loved him, and depended on him. We remember them not as victims, but as children full of life. Lily, who drew unicorns and cats in her sketch pad. Mabel, who once stood up to a bully in kindergarten. Addison, who danced in the kitchen barefoot and begged her mother to play the same song on repeat. Their lives mattered, and so we tell this story not to glorify the man who took them, but to honor them, to bear witness, and to demand justice. Because Travis Decker is still out there, and somewhere someone knows something,